Hello, everyone. Welcome back to No Cap Space. The WNBA has done potentially the most outlandish thing that they have done so far in these CBA negotiations. We're here to talk about it. We're here to break it down. Tyler and Shawnee here. Shawnee, I mean, we can just dive right into this article of kind of explaining what this is. But in larger terms, cutting team housing and moving the season calendar that would interfere with March Madness. That's a lot, and we're here to break it down. So, Shawnee, let's just kind of go paragraph by paragraph here. Any cost about from Front Office Sports with the reporting here. We can try and
let's
make this
start with housing. Like, let's go from like
we're just gonna
disastrous to
so, and that is what we're starting off with here. So it's proposing a 7-figure base salary, but it coming at a cost. Dun, dun, dun. The league has removed team housing from proposals submitted to the WNBA Players Associations, including the most recent. Teams have been required to provide players with in-season housing since 2016. The league has also proposed lengthening the season. We'll get into that. So let's start off here with just the housing aspect. To me, what comes to mind here, Shawnee, is immediately the amount of roster movement that we see in the WNBA with players getting cut, players being on the fringes, rookies coming in and having to really kind of adjust quickly and move quickly, which we'll certainly be touching on that here with the calendar move. But your thoughts initially just on like this being something that is taken away, that has been normalized for almost a decade now in the WNBA.
Conflicted, because having housing tied to your employer, for normal people that could get dicey, but like I grew up a military kid, so I understand like base housing and the need for it. And you know, if you ship me here and I get signed here, like we would have to be on list waiting for base housing and then find some place else to stay until the base housing came open. But it's like, you still sent me here, so like there still needs to be a place for me to stay. So I can understand the need for it. Understand the league saying like, well, if we're paying you more money, you can do that. Like, but it still goes back to like, if you're an Odyssey Sims, and actually Odyssey should just have a house in Dallas by now. Like, she should have apartments in several.
There's a couple of different cities.
Locate like just like Indianapolis, and just go back and forth between it, because we know you're going to go to 2 places now, so that should be easy. But like, 7-day contracts, like where you have a Bree Hall, right, where you're going to the Bay. The Bay is incredibly impossible. It's impossible to get housing in the Bay. So like, what are they supposed to do if you're a Valkyrie? And then like a Bree Hall, where you've been going back and forth between Indiana and Golden State literally all season. Like, that's a nightmare. Like, I guess you got to make a friend on the team that already has a crib and like bunk with them for a minute. But like, that's what we do. Like, we're no cap space.
Y'all should have y'all should have the cap space to be able to handle this problem. Like,
yeah, and it's kind of it feels like, okay, if you want more money, we're taking one right. And it's like, dang. And this is what capitalism does. It thrives off of greed and like cutting corners and like shrinking the margin so that the 1% can continue to eat as much as possible, the gluttony that was mentioned in the Bible. And the workers are, I'm not saying like they're exploited, but like that's what capitalism is. So it's like, you're gonna do things that make things uncomfortable for the labor so you can continue eating, whether you need to. Like, that's not a necessity. They could afford housing and to give them the revenue share, but it's like, again, that's not their chief purpose here. So
to me, like, it kind of does come down to like where it's just like, damn, really? Like, that's where like with this, like the calendar, I'm like, we'll get into that, but I'm like, are we like, this is dumb. This is just like, damn, like that's me. Like that was just like, that one just kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, like on the player's behalf. I'm like, damn, like it's like, especially depending on what market you're in. Like, obviously, like that fluctuates, like in like what the team has to give. Like, I think I forget exactly how it's calculated, but it's different for different markets. But like, some of these markets are not cheap. Like, it's not cheap. And so I was just like, well, damn, like what? Like that's the thing that you're like, yeah, nah, y'all ain't getting this one. Like, shit. Like this has been around for again since 2016. Like to take this away is just like I was kind of shocked to see it. Like this felt like one of those. I guess in my head, kind of going into the CBA negotiations, to me it was like, okay, we're not really like taking anything away. It's just a matter of how much are the players gaining like in these negotiations. So
Right.
to a degree, you know, like obviously there's going to be some degree of give and take, but like to me that was more in like how much the players are actually gaining as opposed to anything like this being taken away. I felt like we were kind of like solidified. Okay, like this is our baseline. Like we're not going under where the CBA already is right now. And so to take the housing away again, it's just like, damn, like you didn't have to do that.
That also kind of with expansion, because it's like you have all of these teams coming in all of these expensive markets. Because it's like if you were putting a bunch of teams in the South like you're supposed to and trying to actually balance out the map, I ain't gonna hold you. Like, you know how you could find a nice little spot in Columbia. You could find a little spot in Rock Hill, you know, Charlotte, whatever. Like, you could make something shake in the South, Nashville, like, but like you put in places in Philly, like you're putting them in major metropolitan areas, and then you just have, again, the Bay. Like, that to me, I'm kind of like, how does that affect free agency? Because like in the NBA, you know, like people don't want to go to Toronto because of the like taxes and like having to pay American taxes versus like what's going on over there. They don't really like that. They like going to like Texas and Florida because they don't have a state tax. So it's like you get more of your money. So it's like you're kind of now creating an imbalance, you know, where it's like, oh, well, come play for us because housing's cheaper versus, you know, like Golden State might be in the, in the trenches for a long time. If you're telling players like you got to pay your own way for your own housing, like that's not great. And it's like, that's what you got on New York and Las Vegas for, about creating competitive advantages just by trying to have, you know, adequate travel and getting, subsidiary funding for players. Now that was circumvention. I'm not going to act like it wasn't, but like, you know,
unless the league says so, which we never got an answer, by the way.
Yeah. So I don't, but like I can at least try and understand, like, you know, pay your players more, you know, hook them up, whatever. Just do it under the table next time. But like with, you know, New York, they should have gotten the death penalty while they're still here. But like that one was just like we're helping our team. Like that to me, the owner should be allowed to do things like that to help the team. And if you're too broke to help your team, get out the game. Like that's why Tillman Furtada should not be allowed to have a franchise. He is poor. He will make them work at his restaurant. But like now, again, like if you take away housing and create that, you're creating a competitive imbalance. And I don't know. I'm not going to say that they're not thinking about that, but I don't think they're thinking about that.
Well, I'm pretty willing to say that they aren't thinking about these things because, frankly, to me, as we move on here, changing the calendar, and there's even a quote in here that says, let me pull this article back up. Let me just, we'll read through this real quick. Taking off from where we left off, the league has also proposed lengthening the season, including an earlier start date that is expected to interfere with the NCAA tournament and potentially other leagues such as Project B. The start date for training camp could be as early as mid-March, sources indicated. It doesn't make logistical sense, one source told Front Office Sports. The WNBA declined to comment. Look, this...
You go first. You go first, yeah.
We have heard a lot of dumb things in these negotiations, whether it be the way that Kathy handled the fee situation or different things getting leaked. Or, I mean, this is by far, to me, the dumbest shit that the WNBA has ever come up with. I think that this is a terrible idea. Think about, like, okay, we've already had these conversations for how long, Shawnee, about how tough it is for rookies to just go from March Madness to the draft to training camp the way it is right now, which is 2 or 3 weeks, you know, roughly depending. I mean, it certainly depends on how far you go in the tournament, yada, yada. But like, you know, it's a very quick turnaround to say the least, especially compared to the NBA. The idea let's just take that point first. The idea of having training camp happen during March Madness, when presumably your top picks that are going to have the most motion, I might add, are going to still be playing in a lot of cases, and you are not going to give them the opportunity to come in when training camp starts and familiarize themselves with the WNBA. And Lord knows when the season would start with that and like what that looks like. I don't know. It's not here. They declined to comment. It doesn't make logistical sense. This is the dumbest shit the WNBA has ever come up with, because let's also think about this from the business perspective. Like I just mentioned, these players and that are coming in have your motion. The WNBA was growing before Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and all these players have come in. But to act like March Madness hasn't been so incredibly vital to the WNBA even being in this position to have these negotiations is an absolute misunderstanding of where the league has gotten to in such a short amount of time and the boom it's had because of Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese in the national championship game, because of Caitlin taking Iowa back, because of Paige being able to go and win the national championship, and these moments that happen throughout the NCAA season and culminate in this March Madness tournament to lead directly into the WNBA season, which it's tough on the rookies, but in terms of the motion and the conversation, it's pretty seamless for the WNBA. And now you're trying to mess with that in order to mess with these other leagues. To me, this is the most fundamental misunderstanding of how players are in the WNBA, both from a rookie's perspective of allowing them the time to try and make a roster, let alone just get acclimated, but also these other players that are going and playing overseas or playing in Unrivaled and trying to take those opportunities away. It's not going to work with the players. Prioritization has already been a problem for years that we've been talking about, and this makes it so much worse. There's simply no way in hell, no way that this happens. I don't know when you'd have the draft. I don't know if you do it before March Madness. I don't know. I don't see a roadmap here at all where the players will go for this and be successful. Because again, we've already been having these conversations about rookies. We've already been having these conversations about how tough it is. And the idea of going and trying to interrupt March Madness is the dumbest idea I've heard from these entire negotiations to me so far.
So I kind of get it from a perspective of you wanting to end Plan B, right? Because that league was started with the intention of competing with the WNBA. So it's like, oh, y'all want to play hardball? Bet. Pick one. And then so you're trying to suffocate that league. But I think you should do it like extend the season out, right? Yeah. Make the finals like early November then. You know what I'm saying? It
has to go the other end of the calendar. You cannot go earlier.
Do something to interfere with the start of the season and, you know, mess up them being able to, you know, go over there to start the season. But I get what the league would be trying to do, because if it's the end of the season, you're going to have Plan B championships, I'm assuming. So it's like you trying to really hit them where it hurts. The problem is you're like kind of cutting your nose off to spite your face, because you cannot do that to the rookies. Like at this stage where the NCAA has so much more momentum coming in than the W right now. Like the W was popping because of the NCAA. And it goes back to kind of Kathy not understanding that and saying like Caitlin needs to thank God for 100%. The league. Like, girl,
100%.
Like
it's
it's
such a fundamental misunderstanding of how they've gotten to where they are.
Right. Like, and I'm not saying, no, I am saying like this is your moneymaker. You need to kiss butt a little bit. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like the people were clamoring for Caitlin's preseason game, bro. Like we're getting defensive scheme reports before the game. We don't get injury reports on a regular basis, and they was telling us who's guarding her tonight. That's how big a deal this was. And it's like to try and squelch that, you're gonna hurt yourself. You're really gonna hurt yourself, because the rookies and their debuts and a lot of like now they're integrated into the league. That drama creates storylines.
100%.
We want to see it. So now if we can't see it until like July, I don't know. Like I don't even know what you're doing, bro. Like, but I don't understand. Like, when would the draft be?
Yeah.
When
Do
would
they
when we
miss
see?
games to start the season? Like it doesn't.
Yeah, like
I don't
are
know.
you telling them like they can't play for their college team and try and win one on the way out
Yeah, yeah.
because they got to report to training camp? Like logistically, that doesn't make sense. Then on top of that, you're going from we already saw how it affected Caitlin, right? When you loaded that scheduling up at the beginning of the season for ratings, right?
Yeah.
She's coming off of a national championship appearance, so she's already playing till April. May she gets rolling. She was exhausted. You had like 20 games in like 10 days, bro. Like that joint was crazy. And then we see what happens after the Olympic break when she actually gets to like take a nap and breathe. You're going to hurt somebody telling them they have to go like from checking in at the facility on their college campus and walking immediately into the professional facility on the grounds of their new employer without even like a second to catch their breath.
Yeah.
That's not, I don't think that that's going to go well. And because now you're putting a Juju in a position where her body's going to be tired. We're not getting the best, from her. And that hampers her career. Because now she's not putting up the numbers she's capable because she has not had 10 minutes to sit down in between seasons. That's not fair to them.
Yeah.
And, and it's like there's a lot at stake, because we do have some generational rookies on the horizon. And again, I just don't want to see their careers not get off to the start they deserve because you've done something stupid for business reasons. And then it hurts the product now because if I'm here to see Juju in her season debut, Juju's not playing well because Juju's tired. Like you've hampered your product. So I absolutely understand trying to play hardball and in plan B and in that league, because again they made it clear like we come in for your spot. So your president is already over there, so I get trying to make her make a decision. I get her trying to tell people like, all right, if we're paying you more money, you need to prioritize us. That's just the bottom line. If we are the best league and the league that everybody wants to be in and we're popping, make that known. Make it official. So I understand that, but like it cannot be at the expense of the rookies, especially in this modern era with this much talent and big names coming through.
Yeah. The idea of trying to stop Alyssa Thomas from playing in Project B so you go and like ruin Juju's March Madness. Like think about it, like from a business perspective.
Yeah,
like
hello?
really like let's really like if you really think this through here.
The players that are over there, we can sacrifice them. I'm good.
Like
you telling me like I don't get to see Alyssa Thomas hoops because of prioritization? Oh,
and again, because I don't disagree with you, like in the sense of like I completely understand why the WNBA would want players to prioritize the WNBA. Like that makes I completely understand that. But the idea that they would go and risk injury, I mean, again, I think the Caitlin the Caitlin point is perfectly made in the sense of like it took time for Caitlin to adjust, and we've seen it with other rookies as well, to take time to adjust just on what the timeline is right now, and saying like, yeah, it's tiring right now the way it is, even with a couple of weeks. You're gonna have them come in like as the season's already going, or like training camp's already like nearly completed, or like what? It's to me, I truly think that there's certainly been a lot of things with like the revenue share and so much. Like, there's been a lot going on, and a lot of things that are questionable that have been leaked or discussed or whatever. And to me, I think that this is the most fundamental misunderstanding of where the WNBA's business is coming from the WNBA. Like this is just complete stupidity to me to even propose this and think that it's going to work, because it's just not. There's no chance this goes through, and I simply don't even know how it would work if it did. Like this, they've really lost me on this one. This is stupid as hell. That is my line of analysis here. Stupid as hell. That is where I'm at with this. Is your heart and mind clear?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, and it feels like, okay, fine. Y'all want to get paid more? we taking one step forward with that, and we're going to take a couple steps back everywhere else. Because again, that is the primary function of capitalism. You are never going to be 100% happy if you are labor.
Open your third eye, everyone. And until then, as you open your third
French.
eye.
Let's get French. We need to hit the street.
We're storming the WNBA.
Where's Kathy's office? It's in New York, right? We can take down Barclays and well, our office might be in Barclays.
As we okay. Well, as these negotiations continue, and I mean, we have the extension till January. I mean, if this is where we're at, goodness gracious, I am not very hopeful that we're gonna get that done by January. But we'll be here to talk about it. So you'll make sure you're tapped in here for all the WNBA stuff. Of course, college season. We are closely approaching conference play, where it's about to get insane. But we still have a pretty packed December as well, full of games. So we'll have lives, we'll have reactions, we'll have boots on the ground, all those things here on No Cap Space. You can find every link down below. It's nocapspacewb.com. We just had a mock draft drop. Shawnee's gonna have 5 out here coming soon. If today at some point, right? Yeah, Shawnee, it's ready to go, pretty much.
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Yeah, we're good. yeah. So we're good. So yeah,
you're
today.
Watching this today, yeah.
Go check out No Cap, and if you're not, then it's already uploaded. So go check it out. Regardless, be tapped in with nocapspacewbb.com for all of our print and podcast content, of course, socials as well, and always here on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and let us know how you think about the proposal down below in the comments. And we'll talk to you very soon.